Hi everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video, and happy Wheel of Time Wednesday. Today we're talking about your favorite Forsaken Lanfear. Well, definitely Matt from the Dusty Wheel's favorite Forsaken anyway. So recently a set video seemed to have surfaced that showed what appears to be Lanfear in it. Now, we're going to talk about that video today and analyze it and try to determine that if that is indeed Lanfear or if it could be someone else. So if you're new to the channel or you don't know what we do here, we basically cover Wheel of Time show news. So anything and everything to do with the Wheel of Time, that's what we talk about here, from the mundane to the fantastical, from the rumors and leaks, all the way up to official news and castings. So if you like that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I am trying to hit 20,000 subscribers prior to the release of Season 2, which I think is going to come out in just a few short months. And of course, if you like the video, click that like button, because it does broaden the reach of the channel and brings in new people and new perspectives in the comments section, which I really like to see. Now, before I get into the video, I do have to give a bit of a spoiler warning. And when I say a bit, I'm going to go the whole books, all of the books, basically, because not everyone who watches my channel has read the books. In fact, a good portion of the people that watch my channel have only ever watched the TV show, so they may need a little bit of backstory on who Lanfear is, how she may fit into the story. So I have to spoil some things. So, spoiler warning, in today's video, we are talking about Lanfear. We're going to give her history, and then we're going to show what appears to be a set video of her on the Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. So if you haven't seen the first season, that's episodes 1 through 8 on Prime Video, and you haven't read the entire book series, that's books 1 through 14, be forewarned, I may ruin plot points and character arcs from both of those mediums. Alright, let's get on to the video. Alright, so we're going to talk just a bit about Lanfear's history before we get into looking at the set video and maybe if Lanfear is showing up to Season 2 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. Now, Lanfear was not always Lanfear. During the Age of Legends, she was born Mirian Arenale, and she was one of the most powerful Aes Sedai that lived. She was really, really strong in the One Power. And she was a research scientist, although she wasn't the most celebrated or best research scientist. She was kind of middle of the road, but her and her research partners were looking for a way to replace the One Power. You see, the One Power is gendered, and men use the male half, women use the female half, and they can work wonders together, although they can't really see what the others are doing. So the thought was in the Age of Legends that if they could use the same power source, they could work even greater miracles with the power. Now think of the Age of Legends much like our present day, however, they have magic. There's no poverty, there's no social issues, there's no war, there's no famine, it's basically paradise. And she was trying to make that paradise even better. Now, what she did is unwittingly bored into the Dark One's prison, because the Dark One was that source of power that she basically found, and released him. So in a way, Lanfear was the one that sort of caused the War of Power and releasing the Dark One into our world. Now, eventually, she turned to the Shadow, but before she did, she was romantically involved with Lews Therin, the dragon. Now, he eventually broke off from her, married Ilyana, and had a whole slew of children, but she's an incredibly jealous person. And you see that throughout the book series when she refers to Rand al'Thor as the dragon, and she seems to think that he is hers. We're probably going to see that in the show. It's a big part of her character. Now, one other thing to note about Lanfear is that she was known as the Daughter of the Night, and she basically considered Teleran Rioed, the World of Dreams, her realm. She was the most skilled person to ever walk the World of Dreams, and I think I can say that especially after what Brandon Sanderson revealed not too long ago on the Dusty Wheel. I won't spoil what that is. However, if you want to know what that is, go on over to Dusty Wheel or take a look at one of my other videos for the secrets that Brandon revealed. Now, with that being said, she eventually became one of the Forsaken. Now, these are one of the Dark One's most powerful minions, basically his lieutenants, and she controlled whole swaths of dark creatures, shadow spawn, dark friends, and did all kinds of atrocities during the Age of Legends. At the end of the Age of Legends, she was sealed in the Boar with the other Forsaken, and she eventually woke up in our age as the seal started to weaken. So we're going to see her in the show as probably one of the big bads, I would assume. Right now we have the Whitecloaks sort of as a bad guy. We have the Shan sort of as a bad guy. And in the first season we saw who was billed to be the Dark One, but it's a Shamael posing as the Dark One. But we haven't seen any of the other Forsaken, except him. So in the second season, I'm kind of wondering if she's going to show up. Now, we've had a couple of hints of it before. We've seen a hand covered in blood in one of the teaser trailers. That alluded to the fact that that's probably Lanfear, because we know there's a body double that's playing the body double of Selene, and she had a bunch of scenes covered in blood. So likely that hand we've seen in the teaser trailer was Lanfear's, although we're not 100% sure. There was also a leaked sizzle reel a long time ago, we're talking probably well over a year at this point, that showed Natasha O'Keefe, quite possibly who we all think is Lanfear, laying on her side covered in blood. Now, we're not 100% in any of that. We don't know if that's Lanfear or not, but so far we may have had a couple of hints that Lanfear is going to be in Season 2. Now, this here would be our third biggest hint, and I'm going to show you the video that supposedly could be Lanfear on set. Now, before I do want to give full credit to Narg from the Daily Trolloc over on Instagram. He's the one who had this video and released it and shown it to everyone. Now, it's part of a wider, larger video. It's kind of zoomed in and grainy. Basically, he took a bigger video and noticed something in it that nobody else did. So that's why I'm showing you the zoomed in portion here. You won't see the rest of the video because we're mostly concerned about whether or not this is Lanfear. All right, so here's the video. You notice the person walking in the background there. Now, they're walking slowly, and I've slowed the video down just a little bit so we can see it a bit better, but it appears to be someone kind of flicking their hands as they're going along and everyone running and cowering in fear with a bunch of smoke in the foreground. Now, I want you to notice a couple things from this video, and we're going to go through some pictures and kind of analyze it. Now, I've doctored the pictures up a bit to make them a little bit clearer and easier to see, but we lose some of the other detail in the background, so just be cognizant of that. All right, so if we take a look at the picture after I've messed with it a little bit, you can see the outline of the person just a little bit more clear. Now, on the bottom, it appears they're wearing a dark colored dress, followed by a flowing white top or robe over the dress, and I believe this is a wide silver belt. That's what it looks like. You see the shine on both sides there. Now, in addition to all of that, the person has dark colored hair, so I would say this is likely someone that either is dressed almost exactly the same as Lanfear is described in the books, or pretty close. Now, as they're walking through, they're flicking their hand. What we're seeing in the scene is we see some people running and cowering in fear in the front, and take a look at the roof there, the thatched roof. It looks like wooden tiles. It's not thatch, it's wooden tiles. Then you go here, it looks like it's the exact same roof. Now, this still is taken from the behind-the-scenes teaser that the official Wheel of Time account released quite some time ago. Now, the people in the foreground that are running here, they're also dressed the same as people in that video. So it's likely the same area. Now, where is this in the season and where is it in the books? Now, do we think Lanfear is going to be there? That's the next thing I'm going to tackle. So now we got to try to place this in the season. I truly believe that this is the foregate. Reason being is because this particular photo here also matches another shot of the behind-the-scenes teaser where Rand is walking through a kind of a ramshackle town. Now, we know we're getting the foregate in the second season because there was a bunch of casting calls for fire eaters and musicians and all kinds of different entertainers for foregate scenes for season 2. Now, if you don't know what the foregate is sort of a ramshackle town outside of Cairhien. Now, Cairhien's a very proper city. The foregate is super not. Not at all. So we know Rand is likely traveling there during the second season because he did so during the Great Hunt. Now, in the Great Hunt, Selene or Lanfear accompanied him through most of his journey there, but kind of left him at the last inn and didn't follow him into the city. She sort of took off at that point. However, we do know that Tom Maryland will not be in season 2. So Tom's not in season 2. Rand needs some sort of a guide in the city to show him the game of houses, how things work, how Cairhien nobility works, so he can further the story to find his way to Falma. Now, I think that guide might be Lanfear, might be Selene. She might either accompany him to the city or meet him there. And then, of course, Lanfear being Lanfear, get jealous or angry or something, and then burn the foregate down. A little bit different from what happened in the books, but similar enough to have the same beats of the story. That's my guess as why this is probably Lanfear in this video. Anyway, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this down below in the comments. Do you think this is Lanfear, or do you think it's someone else? Now, I've heard other people say this might be Eludra, but Eludra being an Illuminator, maybe they're not introduced this early in the story because they're very important to Matt's storyline in much later books. So the idea of introducing Illuminators and Eludra too early doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. It would make more sense to introduce that closer to the time when Matt needs them, because, let's face it, some audiences are not going to remember the Illuminators if you introduce them in season 2 and then need them in season 6. So likelihood of being the Illuminators, I think personally, is pretty low. I still think this is Lanfear. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you believe this is Lanfear, if you think it's Eludra, if you think it's someone else. Am I making sense, or am I absolutely out to lunch? All right. Thank you so much for sticking with me here to the very end. Happy Wheel of Time Wednesday, and here's to many more.